Hello again, Doc Tima here. Just once again doing a little video for you as part of the 3-minute media literacy program. So often in my courses I teach on campus, I get into various theories that help us better understand the media world around us. I'm a theory nut, that's what I do. It's a great way for it to become more critically aware, more media literate. I want to go through a few of these theories that I talk about here. Just kind of get us thinking about them. Consider them tools for your toolbox, what Kenneth Burke would call equipment for living. So the first one I want to talk about is agenda setting. This one we see happening everywhere. This comes to us from Max McCombs and Donald Shaw. The idea started to form when in the 1970s, McCombs and Shaw wanted to figure out why only certain topics were often covered in op-eds and in political reporting surrounding the election coverage in a local newspaper. Like all good researchers, they developed a series of studies analyzing stories and at the same time what people said about those stories as well as what else they were thinking about. After they pulled their data together and did what researchers do, run the numbers, they discovered something interesting. An agenda was being developed through both the coverage of various political issues of the day and by what people were writing and talking about. So why does this matter? For McCombs and Shaw, they're able to demonstrate, we avoid the word prove in research, that contrary to popular belief, the media are not able to 100% dictate what we think. Yes, there are short term instant moments where you believe a thing at the emotional level, but then it quickly fades over time, though this does not stop us from posting without thinking on the regular. What is far more often the case, though, is that media outlets are able to tell us what to think about. This then, in turn, constructs a particular frame that we see the world through. The edges of a window frame, or a television, or a monitor, or a phone screen, limit what in the world we can see and cannot see, or what is produced for those spaces. We know that the outside world is still there, but we're not exposed to it. We're not exposed to it. It is no longer part of our immediate and experienced world. So, for an example, consider a newsroom getting ready for their evening broadcast. It's early in the morning. They know they've got a 30-minute show to produce. 30 minutes is actually 22 minutes, considering advertising time. So in 22 minutes, they have to cover the news of the day. They know they have to cover weather. They know they have to cover sports. They know that they have to have some sort of human interest story. So at the end of the day, the first two, what we call blocks, are maybe 12 minutes of information. That's it. Maybe 15 on the outside. In 15 minutes, how do you decide which stories you want to tell? The news editor might have 100 stories in front of them. They have room for 8, 5. So how do they choose which stories that they're actually going to show? Well, it comes down to audience interest. It comes down to who's paying the bills. We've talked about that before. It comes down to maybe what other people are talking about. At the end of the day, that news editor has to create some sort of package, some sort of outline, and that's what you see. Out of 100 stories, you see 8. Now, have that happen the same way every night, and probably the same story or types of stories happen every night. Multiply that by the other newsrooms that are in the market you live in, also making the same decisions, more than likely picking the same or similar stories. And suddenly the agenda for what you think about is being set for you. This gives us into situations where we think a neighborhood is more dangerous than it actually is, where we think that something terrible is just happening all the time when it's really not. But we don't hear enough good stuff out there. This is something to kind of think about as we watch and consume our media. They might be saying, but I don't watch the news, Tima. Correct. But agenda setting is not just about the news. It's about what information is and is not presented to us at all times. The algorithms, chances are that is how you ended up here, right? Are used to determine what you want and do not want to see and hear. You don't determine that. The algorithm does. The agenda is being set for you. Even when you look things up on a social media app, what you are looking for is simply incorporated into your algorithm. In some later episodes, I want to explore information silos and social media engineering more overtly. But for now, just keep the idea of agenda setting in mind. Look around at the stuff you consume every day and decide, I wonder why I'm seeing this and not that. That's all I've got. Take it easy as always. Be well. Take care of each other. We'll talk to you soon. See ya. Oh, this went over 3 minutes. My apologies.